1, 2, 3. Hey, it's Andrew Wagner from RetroRequiem. I'm here with the developers of Default Dan. So, how are you guys today?
We're pretty good, man. A little tired, but pretty good.
That's good. So how's the reception of the game here at TooManyGames?
It's actually been really good. We've had a pretty long line. Everybody's always playing it. We did a couple tournaments, so it's been really good.
Yeah, I'm really surprised actually, but it's the kind of concept that people just like understand immediately and latch onto, and then that keeps them hooked long enough to sort of get into the game and keep playing. So,
talking about the concept, it's really unique. It's take a Mario, but with everything good being bad and everything bad being good. How did you think of that?
So we actually do game jams. So we do 48-hour building competitions where they give you a theme and you have to come up with a game, and that's where Dan was born. So our theme was Eye of the Beholder, and instead of doing something in the game, we were like, let's look at the gamer. You know, the gamer always wants to get coins and wants to not go in a hole and things like that. So we were just like, let's flip that upside down. Like, who made those rules? Let's break them and let's see what happens. So, yeah.
About the same. Now, how did you come up with the name Default Dan?
So it's kind of got a mixture of it. So one is we just want to go with a really generic but actually catchy sounding name. The other one is, you know, we started thinking about names. I remember the PS1 games where you would start with your character, whether it's Final Fantasy or something like that, and it would always be default and whatever. And as soon as you started typing, it wouldn't erase default. It always frustrated me because I would start my game and I'd be default, you know, Bob or whatever, and then I have to go restart the game and delete default out. So just kind of played on that.
It's also sort of a joke. So it's called Default Dan because he sort of looks like your generic platforming hero, sort of like your generic 80s protagonist. And the game is anything, obviously, but default, but it makes you feel comfortable, and it's on this NES controller, and it feels like Mario, so that you get into the mindset of playing Mario, and then we just flip their brain upside down. So,
yeah, I played the game, and I got a little frustrated at the beginning, but once I got used to it, it's a really fun game. It's a really unique take on the genre, and I really like it. So what was your inspiration other than Mario for the game?
Actually, it goes to all the games that we grew up with. So, you know, I grew up on the NES, the Super NES, Sega, and all of that. So there's nods to all kind of games. You'll see Mario, Sonic, Donkey Kong, you know, just anything we can kind of think of to kind of put in there but not be too blatantly obvious. So just like little hints at everything. So it kind of brings that nostalgia factor to the game.
Right. I've always been a huge Nintendo fan, so that's always been my inspiration, the retro Nintendo games, just making a really polished experience that's fun, doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's just fun to play. So.
Yeah, it is a very fun game to play. As an indie developer, have you had any problems, any financial setbacks, any debugging problems that you've found?
Actually, you know, with us, we kind of do this on the side, so we have our own jobs, but that kind of makes it good and bad at times. Sometimes it takes a lot longer because we're having to do it outside of work. But as far as financial, we got a couple of us guys together. You know, I've kind of put a lot of this out of my pocket. We try to find the cheapest deals. So it hasn't been too bad yet, but as we're looking next year with PAX, Indiecade, you know, even GDC and some of that kind of stuff, we got to start thinking of the money. So we're actually going to be starting a Kickstarter in about 2 months when we get the demo together. And that's how we're hoping we can get to all these different places, just like this one where we drove 13 hours to get here. So,
yeah, I mean, to answer your previous question, I think one of the hardest things being an indie developer where you're sort of just working on the side and out of your own pocket is, you know, finding people that are passionate enough about the idea and about making games to stick with it more after the initial excitement of like the first couple weeks of working on a game. But you get a lot of people who want to help out, and they might start off doing something really good and then they just lose interest and fade into nothing, and you're sort of back where you started. So it's hard to find a good team who sticks through the game to the very end, and I think that's what we got. So
yeah. So what's the future for Default Dan?
So right now we're trying to work on getting the demo finalized in the next 2 months. We're going to have that out free on the website, defaultdan.com. Then we're going to continue on to build this game out, add some more environments, bosses, levels, try to get a finally polished game at the end of it. Then we're going to be putting that out probably November, December, late in the year. We want to push that on every platform, so iOS, Android, Windows Phone, PC, Mac, Linux, anything you can think of, we're going to try to put it on it. So that's kind of where we're going with it, and then we're just going to ride it out and kind of see where it goes from there. So.
Right. It might sound silly to just say every platform, but we've already got a touchscreen version of the game ready to go. We had it on demo for iOS earlier, so we're sort of developing the touchscreen version alongside this, and the engine we're using just exports to all these different platforms. That's the way game engines are going these days, so it's definitely a possibility.
Well, I'm happy to see you guys out here, indie developer, posting your own stuff, working on the side, great team, great game. I hope to see more of you in the future.
All right, thank you, man.
Yep. Good.